you're following the news, chances are you have seen or heard some crazy headlines about the housing market that don't give the full picture. The real estate market is shifting. I know we hear it all the time. It's shifting. And when that happens, it can actually be really hard to separate facts from fiction. That's where a trusted real estate professional comes in. We can help debunk the headlines so you can really understand today's market and what it actually means for you. There are 3 common housing market myths that you might be hearing today, and we're gonna talk about those. Myth 1, home prices are gonna fall. One piece of fiction that you may be hearing is that home prices are going to crash. That's because headlines often use similar but different terms to describe what happens with the pricing. A few of these things you might be hearing are words like appreciation, increase in home prices, depreciation or like decreasing home prices, and deceleration, which is a big word, which is an increase in home prices but at a slower pace. Now, honestly, the fact is this: experts aren't calling for decreases in prices. Instead, they actually forecast appreciation will continue, just at a decelerated pace. That means home prices are going to continue to rise and not fall, but they're just not going to spike like we've seen in the past. The second myth is that the housing market is in a correction phase. That is not the case. Here's why. This is an actual quote from Forbes. A correction is a sustained decline in the value of a market or the price of an individual asset. A correction is generally agreed to be a 10 to 20% drop in value from a recent peak. So obviously you can see home prices are still appreciating. Experts project that this will continue just at a slower pace. That means the housing market isn't in a correction because prices aren't falling. It's just moderating compared to the last 2 years, which were record-breaking in like every single way. Myth 3, the housing market's going to crash. Some headlines are generating worry that the housing market is a bubble ready to burst. But today is nothing like 2008. One of the reasons why is because lending standards are very, very different today. A recession talk becomes more prevalent. Some people are concerned that mortgage credit lending will get much tighter. This typically happens in a recession. However, the notion that credit lending in America will collapse like it did in 2005 to 2008 couldn't be more incorrect. We haven't had a credit boom in the period of 2008 to 2022. So during the last housing bubble, it was much easier to get a mortgage than it is today. Since then, a lot of the lending standards have actually tightened up. They've done this like super significantly, and purchasers who were able to get a mortgage over the last decade are much more qualified than they were in the years leading up to the other crash. The bottom line is, no matter what you're hearing about the housing market, trust the experts and partner with a local real estate professional. When you do, you are going to have all of the knowledgeable authority on your side that knows the ins and outs of the market, including the current trends, the historical context of where we are in the market, and so much more.